What's up, guys, and we are back. We took a couple days off after putting the craps video up, but we wanted to do something exciting, which we've promised is bringing the podcast to the YouTube channel. So we're set up in the room, we're showing you guys a little of how we do things, but we hope you guys enjoy the podcast. You're gonna get a better feel for who we are and what we like to do and some of the crazy stories that go along the way.
And this is a first for us. You know, usually we come in to record and no makeup, bun. So I was like, oh, I got to get ready today.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit ready. We're trying the green screen out, trying to see what we can do with it. It's going to be hit and miss, but it can only go up from here.
Yeah,
it can only go up from here.
So again, guys, hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into the episode. Welcome back, guys, to another recap of another Vegas trip. Trip number 3 in 3 months, Cal. It's been, wow, it was a blast.
Time out. Trip number 3 for you. Mama got to stay home this trip.
I know, sorry. But
I know.
There was a lot of fun had.
I'm sure.
So before we get into everything, I do have some huge shout outs, and we are going to recap the trip and everything that happened, but there were some really cool people we met. That's one thing we love doing the podcast and meeting some of the people that come out. And man, some of the people that came out. So first of all, Mike, the owner from Jessie Rae's Barbecue.
Oh yes, you had a good visit with them, right?
Oh my God. I have a whole video coming out about it.
And great food, you said.
Great food, great customer service. I didn't know what to expect. We've never been there. And Mike, if you're listening to this, man, again, thank you. And you guys will hear all about that whole interaction in a little bit. On top of that, his mom, Samantha, she's all, call me Sam. But, I mean, just very down to earth. I mean, again, I've yet to meet Mike. And just by meeting his mom, I know we're going to hit it off well. You know, you get that feeling. If he's anything like his mom, I mean, we're going to hit it off well. So, again, Jessie Rae Barbecue, the crew over there, thank you for an amazing experience. Christina and Anna Alice. I mean, a lot of things happened this weekend. We got in town early. They were like, hey, no problem, just check in. We got you. I mean, we sat down for like a 30-minute interview with them. I sat down with them for like a 30-minute interview and had a blast with them. I mean, we talked about operations, some of the stuff you don't get to hear about, what their daily operations look like, the new front yard,
right.
Their new brunch menu. I mean, they had a lot of stuff going on. Football, the first day of football, super packed.
Yeah.
The line was in the building, almost out the doors. It was like a 3-hour wait just to get in. I mean, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Ellis Island is definitely a constant for Vegas locals.
Yes.
I mean, and that's apparent. And it's not only the cheap beer that they make themselves, the quality beer, and they sell it super cheap, but the great food and the great variety of food.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what people love, and that's what keeps you coming back.
So on top of that, I have Saul. He came out again, hung out, of course. He picked me up and wanted to go gamble, so of course, always exciting to see everybody.
Saul is Julian's bro husband right there.
That's my bro hand. On top of that, Jonathan and Lisa and the Plaza crew. So for the very first time, we were able to live stream craps play, blackjack play if we wanted. I was able to do a live walkthrough through the casino with nobody hounding me. I mean, get to basically show people a layout of the plaza and why we enjoy it, where everything's located, and what they're looking forward to if they're going to make a visit down there. So that was the whole purpose, and that was really fun to do. So again, I didn't expect Scott to come out of all people.
Yeah.
I invited him out for a drink afterwards, and hey, you want to come and have some drinks after? He's like, drinks? I'd rather come and gamble. I'm like, you play craps? So that was fun and exciting. Just put up a brand new YouTube video of the craps play video with Scott at Plaza. So you guys, if you want to go check that out, definitely go check that out on our YouTube channel. That was a blast to do.
It was really fun to watch too. I watched it live from home, and it was cool, and we plan to do it. We're going to go out to Vegas in October. We're hopefully going to do it again. We're
Yeah.
going to talk to the plaza. I want to play because I love playing craps.
Yeah, we love craps.
We love craps. Maybe some blackjack if possible. We want
Right,
to. We don't
yeah.
want to do a live stream of that, but it's super fun to be able to interact and show you guys. You know, maybe if you don't play craps all the time, or if you're not, you know, an aficionado at blackjack, maybe you want to see how it's played and live without looking over somebody's shoulder. Those are the times to do it.
Well, and it was one thing because you weren't there. This whole trip was
Right.
different because you weren't there, so it was
And
literally
every time he
on the
called,
go.
he was like, "This is so much harder."
Yeah,
so much
just setting
harder on
up
myself.
videos, planning things, interviews, all this stuff, being on the go, you know. So I just kept saying it's so much different without you. And
You didn't say different. You said harder.
whatever.
Eh?
Anyway, so on top of
But
that,
he did good.
on top of that, a lot of fun. I got to meet Alice in Casino Land, who's on YouTube, but I
Right.
got to meet her. She was staying at the plaza. Again, Shannon from the Neon Vacation.
Brian Christopher
YouTube
was in
page.
town.
Brian Christopher was in town. Got to say hi to him. David, Ron, Tom, Kenny, and Kyle. All these guys just randomly met throughout the trip. I mean, at some points I was gambling with them the night before, and then we just ran into each other on the strip, and we headed to Alice and gambled some more. I mean, there was so much fun had this trip. But again, the Craps crew at the plaza, the crew over at Ellis Island, I mean, again, the amazing times, being able to stay up all night, gamble, and have a
Right.
good time, that's what it's all about, man. So again, shout outs to all you guys. And again, Brian Christopher, he was having a busy weekend. It was his anniversary and stuff, so, you know, he had a lot going on, but we did message back and forth, and hopefully we can get that lined up here.
Yeah,
in the
we
future,
definitely
too.
want to meet up with him. That would be awesome.
So let's jump into the trip. Basically, Friday, got there about noon, checked in, and like I said, we were there a little early, so we just kind of asked, hey, if you guys have the room available, we're here. If not, you know, we'll leave the stuff in the car. And they're like, hey, no, let us check it out. She's like, oh, we see you're reserved. We got you. You got early check-in. No problem. So we went up to the suite at Alice Island, and man, I was surprised, babe. It was nice. I showed you a lot of pictures and videos, and I did not expect that room to be that nice. Again, the balcony outside, the extra room, I mean, just, it was very, very nice, and we joke about it all the time about, you know, we don't spend much time in the rooms on Vegas
Right.
trips. And these last two trips, I found myself in the room a lot more, just chilling, hanging out, smoking on the balcony. just-
Anytime there's a balcony, he spends more time in the room.
yeah, it's very true.
Anytime
Even on the
there's a
cruise
balcony.
ships, like, we stood more time in the rooms just because it was...
Even the last time we went to the coast, remember?
Oh, yeah.
He spent
I
the
see-
last
yeah.
night, he slept on the balcony
I
because he
slept
loves
outside.
the balcony so much. And it was freezing. He had like 4 blankets over him, but you are a balcony person. I know that.
So once we checked in, it was time to take a stroll to the Strip, because I had some ideas, and I've heard of this place plenty of times on the Strip where you can basically get the cheapest meal I've ever heard, $5. And I was thinking to myself, what?
Can't
So
be.
then I started looking into it more, and I'm starting to watch some of these other YouTubers who went down there and made some videos at this place. It's inside the Miracle Mile shops at Planet Hollywood, and it's called Ocean One Bar and Grill. So they have specials every day. It's from like 11:30 to 4. And they have 3-for-1 drink specials, and all their menu items are $5. From tacos to buffalo chicken wraps to salmon platters, fresh fish. I mean, all kinds of different food. And all really good looking food. So I was really surprised that, you know, they had
And as many
pastas.
times as we've been to Vegas, we had never heard of it,
And listen,
right?
how many times have we paid so
Right.
much at restaurants?
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's
Especially on the Strip.
yeah, the Strip in
Especially on
general.
the
Yeah,
Strip.
the Strip in general. So it was worth checking out. I went down there and made a little video. I'll be putting that up on YouTube as well. But guys, if you're in the area and in town and you want to, you know, check this place out. It's $5 an item. The drinks are cheap.
Miracle
it's a
Mile.
Miracle Mile shop, and
In Planet
the place is really, really big.
Yeah.
So again, you're not gonna have to wait. That's not an issue. Go down, check this place out. That was my first visit. From there, I ended up heading down towards Mandalay Bay. I wanted to get some more footage of the Strip. I knew I wanted to check out the shark tank there. They have a shark aquarium I wanted to check out. And I also had some other ideas of putting a different video together of the best free views on the Las Vegas Strip. So I had some mileage to put in, right? So I had some work to do. So again, as I'm heading down to Mandalay Bay, Saul texts me. He's like, hey Jay, you want to get together? I'm like, he's all, where you at? I was like, I'm strolling the strip right now, so I'm headed towards Mandalay. He's like, I'll pick you up. Yeah. So he eventually found me at Mandalay, and we were gonna go head downtown. So we head downtown, and we get to Plaza, and I just wanted to make sure, hey, we're good for tomorrow to do the live stream, and that's all set up. And I'm glad I did, because the email wasn't confirmed yet.
Yeah.
So they got that done as we were talking, and so we were set up. We were good to go. The tables were full, so we're like, well, let's go see if we can find somewhere else to play blackjack. Because when we're with Saul, we like to play blackjack. So we head over to Golden Gate, and I didn't tell you this, but this was actually an interesting part of the trip. So we head into Golden Gate, and as we're at the front door, and we cross the street from Plaza, go into the front door, and the guy's like, hey, do you guys have hotel room keys? I was like, what? So, do you guys have hotel room keys? I was like, no. He's like, oh, well, you guys can't come in, you have a backpack.
Oh no, not a backpack
The
story.
backpack. Here we go with the backpack again. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, it's just something new. We just started this last week. We're not allowing people in with backpacks. He's like, you're more than welcome, to leave it in the car or in your room. I don't know where you're staying, but and you can come back, no problem. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, we just can't. It's just a new thing. I was like, oh. So we...
Flashbacks of Paris.
Yeah. We eventually made our way over to Four Queens. Four Queens was pretty packed too, but we also found a $5 blackjack table with like two people on it. So we're like, well, let's kind of eye it out. A person left, we sat down. We were there for a few hours. So we were up, I think, $25 each. We were doing okay. Nice drinks are flowing. We're like, all right, let's go cash out. We're going to head back to Ellis Island. I wanted to show them the suite.
Yeah.
So we head to the cage, and as we're at the cage, this guy's in front of us, and he's just standing there, and he's got a $1 bill, and he's just standing there looking at the lady, and we get up there, and he's just like, I told you already, I want a Miller Lite. And the cashier's just looking at him like, sir, I can't help you. And me and Saul were looking at each other like, no way. And he's like, ma'am, Miller Lite. What's so hard about it? She's all, sir, we don't serve drinks here. And it's like she wasn't speaking English to him, because he was just staring at her like, are you fucking serious? Yeah, like, and so he just kind of walks away real slow. Me and Saul thought it was a joke, right?
Yeah.
And so I go up to the counter, and I was like, can I get a Corona with salt and lemon? And she just kind of looks at me, and so I was busting up. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I want a Miller Lite. So
that's hilarious.
Again, guys, if you're looking for beers at the cashier's cage,
it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. No. So from leaving there, I did make a purchase. I've always told you, for the last couple years we've went, that I wanted to get one of those paintings that they do right there downtown, right? So I wanted to get one of those Las Vegas ones. And I found one. I was like, all right, pretty cool. Purchased it, and then we were heading back to Plaza to go meet Alice, who was staying at the Plaza. She has a YouTube channel. You guys check her out too. She's been newer to the vlogging game, and it's funny because she's very hesitant about vlogging, and she's like, I'm so nervous about doing this, and she actually does really, really well. She just it's very natural. And I told her, I was like, you got nothing to worry about. If you can talk to a camera, it's up to the people who you're going to be talking to pay attention, And she's like, yeah, she's like, it's true, but very nice lady. Sat there, chatted with her for like 15 minutes at the Plaza. We started talking about, her stay there, her experience, Brian Christopher, all kinds of different stuff, because she was there for the Rudy's weekend as well. And by the way, can I mention, I've never seen so many Rudy masks in one weekend.
No way.
Everywhere. Not just downtown, though. On the Strip.
Really?
Mandalay, Mirage, everywhere you can think of, I was seeing these masks.
That's awesome.
And it just goes to show that he's got a really good following.
Right.
And he's really likable, so it's hard, it's hard not to like the guy. So we headed back to Ellis Island. I showed Saul the suite, and he checked it out, and he was like, dang, I didn't even know. I go, I know, man. I go, and what's even cooler is I'm yet to see like their basic room, because I had ordered the suite for the first couple of days, and then just a basic room for the last day, which was called the King Room. So Saul was like, this is neat. So What was even the cherry on top was they did tell us at check-in, hey, the mini bar, the first round's all on us. So anything in there you guys can have. If we have to refill it, then you guys will be charged, but the first round's all on us. So, I mean, there's plenty of beer, alcohol, you name it. I mean, mixers, you name it. So I kept telling Saul, drink them, dude. I'm not going to drink them, So we sat there, chilled for a bit, then went down and played some more blackjack at Ellis Island for a couple hours. He ended up taking off, and we ended up playing next to this guy named David. David we were winning all night with David, and he was really loud. But here at Ellis, you have the plexiglass,
Right.
and that was one thing we weren't used to playing with, is plexiglass. So you couldn't really hear each other. And as we're waiting, we were getting on a good run. You know, we're just high-fiving and slapping on the plexiglasses. We're pounding with the dealer, right? And so we had a good time with them. Well, it eventually gets late. It's now like 1. Everybody's starting to part ways. Well, I go get something to eat. David takes off. Saul takes off. I come back. I start playing a little bit of craps before the craps table closes. Didn't go good, so I should have went and stayed on the blackjack table. So what I did is I went to the blackjack table, and it's, you know, when you've hit your wall, when you're sitting there playing blackjack, and your eyes start to close, but when you open them, the dealer's just pointing at your hand like, are you staying or are you hitting? I'm like, oh, fuck, it's time to go to sleep now. So it's almost, 4 or 5 in the morning. Just about called it a night, went up to the room, crashed. So that was Friday. I mean, after being on the go all day, I had told Kelly, I was like, I had this intentions of making this video that should have took me 1 day. It took me literally all 3 days just to get the video done, between walking from place to place and stopping and meeting people and interacting.
Right.
I still didn't get to Mirage area, the front, the fire show. I didn't get to record that. There's so much I missed. I mean, I really didn't get to cover a lot because a lot of it was bouncing back and forth. So, but again, still a lot of fun.
And in 3 days, you still only got like 11 hours sleep, you said.
Yeah, 3 days, 11 hours of sleep.
Probably clocked 15 miles at least.
Came back with something I didn't go with. I had a fucking callus on my foot.
Yeah.
So, Saturday, college games. Got up, play some bets, and then I was off again to Mandalay Bay to go hit up the aquarium. So I get there, run in, I notice that there's a long line, and I ask, hey, what's the rate? How do we go about getting tickets? It was $30, and the wait time was almost 4 hours because everything was booked. So I was like, well, that's not gonna happen. I eventually wanted to hit my number 1 spot for best free view in Vegas. So I head over towards the Skyfall Lounge, which is at the Delano. And as I get there, closed. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, it's closed. It's not going to open till 6. He's like, and they've been kind of not opening it because, it's not really a food venue. So we're trying to incorporate more food so we can have it open more often. So I was like, all right, well, that was shot. So it was time to move on to my number 2 spot, which was the Waldorf Astoria. And that we've been there a couple of times, and it's I believe 23 floors up, and it's right there on the main strip. And this place, the view is both north and south side of the strip, so you get to see it all. And we've had drinks with friends there, hung out there a few times, and a really cool spot. I get there as well, closed. Like, son of a bitch, this is already not going well, right? So I'm like, all right. Well, I actually just stood there in the lobby, because up in that lobby, you can actually sit there and still see outside. Very cool view. So I just kind of sat there for a bit, charged all my equipment, and I was going to make my way to the third place via Lyft. So I get to the lift, and I have 2 really interesting Lyft stories. This Lyft driver had me rolling because not only did he immediately, as I sat in the car, he jumps out. And he's like, I'll be right back. He jumps out, pulls the keys out, and left his phone. And he's just sitting there, and he jolts out of the car and runs inside to find a restroom. And he found no restroom in the first building, and then he sprints out of that building and runs over to the next building. No restroom, and then does it again a third time. I'm sitting there cracking up in the car.
Right.
And he comes back and he's like, no restroom. I'm like, oh shit. So I was like, well, if you have to stop anywhere, man, just do it. I don't care, just go anywhere you gotta go. And he's like, nah, I'll be alright, we'll make it. And so now he's jamming, right? Now he's racing everywhere. So that was an interesting story.
But you know what I thought was interesting? Is you had posted that, remember, on social media. Yeah, and there was a lot of comments that were really negative because I think they took it as Julian going, oh my God, can you believe he's doing this on his shift? Which is totally not the case. Like anybody that has, listened to Vegas Confessions or has been on the YouTube channel knows, like that is so not your forte.
Yeah,
like
no,
you
no.
were just like, hey, has this ever happened to you guys? Kind of like, haha, this is funny. Like I know when I've taken multiple Ubers and Lyfts and never as a driver jumped out and said, give me a timeout.
I'll be back.
You know, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
He just thought it was an interesting story, but to get like, you know, a couple of those comments, I read them going, really? Like, you guys don't know, Julie, if you think that it's he has every right. If he has to go, he has to go. Like, it was just a funny, like, haha, has that ever happened to you? So just for any clarification, it was just a funny, like, hey, guys, this only happens to me. And, you know, not necessarily in Vegas, but only happens to Jules.
So that, and that Lyft was funny, but there's even another story down the road where another Lyft just really surprised me. I was like, dude, and I took a little video of him too, and I had him laughing. It was an interesting weekend. So at that point, I got a message from Ron. Ron is a Facebook friend who I've been Facebook friends for years, and he's from the East Coast, and he runs a craps page on Facebook. It's called Ron the Don's 100K Club, and so he's all about craps, right? So he knew I was in town. We had messaged prior, and I was like, hey, dude, I'm roaming the strip. He actually called me on Facebook Messenger. Where you at, man? I was like, I'm actually getting ready to head down towards the Stratosphere. He's like, oh, well, why don't you meet me at Bally's? Because I'm getting ready to go have some drinks at the pool with some of my favorite bartenders. I was like, okay, well, I've been walking all day. Why not? Let's go get some drinks. So I have the guy take me to Bally's instead. So as I get to Bally's, I meet up with Ron. Ron's like, hey, we're going up to the blue pool. I was like, I've never been to the pool. Right. So I was like, hey, let's go. So this guy, this is one of those instances where I had to walk with my head down and not look at people because he's got the high status card. So he walks up past the big old line that people are waiting in for the pool and walks straight up, and he's like, hey, shows him the card. He's the VIP. So he had like a cabana shit set up, and they're like, all right, come on. And he whistles back at me. I'm in the back of the line still waiting, right? And he's like, hey, Julian, come on. I'm like, oh, fuck. I put my head down. I don't want to look at anybody, you know? But yeah, I had a good time with him. Spent like an hour or two there with him at the blue pool. We had some drinks.
How was the view?
Oh man. Yeah. It was a really big pool. But one thing that was interesting is it closed at 5 p.m. Okay. Which, you know, I didn't pay no mind to hearing the servers saying, you know, last call and all that, because we weren't really like there to drink. We were just there hanging out. He knew all the bartenders, like literally when we walked into the pool area, all the bartenders, hey, Ron, hey. So like they weren't even charging him for drinks. So like, your cup's empty, here you go. Like, so it was really cool that he's there all the time, and they did take care of him. So it was nice to see customer service for regular people on the strip. So that was cool to see. So again, Ron had a blast with him. We ended up getting kicked out about 5, so we still had some drinks left. So me and him, like gentlemen, we finished up our drinks on Flamingo Avenue outside just by traffic. And so after we finished up there, I had mainly just called him to be like, hey, dude, if you want to come and play craps tonight, there's a craps session. I'm able to live stream if you want to be a part of it. I know you got the Facebook stuff. I think that'd be cool if you want to join. And he's like, fuck yeah, I'll be there. He's like, but no, I want you to come drink first. So we ended up hanging out. When I was done with him, literally, I turned around to head to Ellis Island. And as I turned my back, I'm like, all right, Ron, I'll see you later on tonight. I turned my back, and walking down the sidewalk in the exact same way I'm walking is David from the night prior at the blackjack table.
Oh, jeez.
He's like, dude. I was like, what the hell? I was like, where are you coming from? We exchanged info. He found out about what I do, and he was like, dude, you like talk to everybody. I was like, dude, I know a lot of people.
He does talk to everybody.
I talk a lot.
He talks to everybody.
So he's like, he's all in. He's there subscribing to the podcast on YouTube in front of me. He's downloading the podcast. Like, he's like, I'm all in, dude. I love stuff like that. So again, David, if you're listening, man, welcome to the family, man. Yeah, but he was just
definitely welcome.
Yeah, he was like, come on, let's go play. I'm like, dude, I'm heading back to go charge some stuff up because I still got some more stops tonight. I'm heading to Plaza to play craps. And he's like, you're playing craps live? I was like, yeah, dude. He's like, that's cool. So it was really nice to meet David. So I did. I went up to charge everything. And I wrote all these notes, and I don't even have to look at it because now I'm remembering everything. But if I forget some things, I have some notes here. So I charge up everything, head down to the Plaza. One thing stuck out to me is when I ordered the Lyft, it said I had like a 45-minute wait. And I was supposed to be there by 8, so I'm now at 7:15 ordering the Lyft thinking I'm going to make it on time. Now looking like I'm not going to even get a Lyft. So I'm like, fuck. And because it's a Saturday, there's a surcharge. So instead of $13 or $13, which it usually is to get to Plaza from Alice, it's $33. I'm like, oh fuck. So I'm like, at that case, I might as well just catch a goddamn taxi. And that's exactly what I did. I caught a taxi for the first time in Vegas and went straight to the Plaza and paid the same amount. I actually paid $30 even. So, but I tipped the guy too. So it came out to about the same. I got there and immediately my phone rings. I'm like, who's this? I don't know the number. It turns out it's Shannon from the Neon Vacation, who's from Minnesota, who was in town. He was in town 2 weeks prior, so I was like, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? He's like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, I saw you're doing that live stream tonight at Plaza with Craps, or what's going on? He's like, I'm just curious. I was like, yeah, I'll be at Craps. I'm on my way to Plaza right now. He's like, all right, meet you there. Like, what the fuck, you're in town? He's like, yeah, dude, I've been in town. I'm like, oh, okay. So then, as I'm getting to Plaza, I pull in. I get out of the car, my phone blows up. It's Scott. Where you at, dude? I'm at Pop-Up having a slice. I'm ready to roll. Let's do it. And I'm like, holy
I love
shit.
Scott.
Yeah,
I love Scott.
I head inside, meet them both. They're both at Pop-Up having pizza and wings. I'm like, son of a bitch. So we head over to the tables. We start playing. We played Craps live on Facebook for about an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest. I told you, like, I was pretty nervous about the live stream. I think I was even more nervous about the denominations, which we had to play in Craps. So a little bit about the way it worked out is, the deal was with Plaza is if I bought in for $1,000, I can play, live stream, okay? But as I got there, the day of, I remember telling you, it was the Saturday night of the live stream, I had got the confirmation, and then it said the minimum would be $25. So my fucking jaw dropped a little bit. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, well, let's just kind of see how this goes. We've never actually done it, never played at the denomination. And let's just see if we can have a little fun without losing a lot of money. So we did. We actually played for over an hour. I think I lost a few $100s, but I did. We were hitting points, I was putting chips away in my pocket because I knew it was going so fast, you know, with betting that big.
It does,
4 different bets, you're at $100, you know, plus. So it was like, oh man, plus odds. So it was a little aggravating, but it was fun to do and super relaxing because I was with Scott. We had this dude walk in who came in and he wanted us to.
3 points.
Oh, he came in. He was like, dude, I'm ready to make some money. If you get me on this table, dog, we're gonna make money. I was like, hey, we can use a shooter. Just note it's $25 minimums. He was like, I'm ready to play 50. I was like, fuck, jump in, dude. He jumped in, less than 5 minutes, hit 3 points back to back, and was out.
Then left.
Yeah, then out. I'm like, you're gone? He's like, yeah, it's my wife's birthday. We gotta go. Like,
Julian's like, I wish you would have stayed. I wish you would have stayed.
And then Scott's like, what do we even bother shooting for this whole time? We should have just waited for him. Yeah,
give him the dice.
So that was super cool. And as we were playing, one of the things that was cool is a guy walks up as I'm shooting the dice, and he's like, hey, what's your guys' YouTube channel? And Scott's like, oh, he's Vegas Confessions on Vital Vegas. And the guy's like, I already follow you guys. He's like, and I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, I already follow you. He's like, it's you and your wife, right? And like, yeah, dude. And so he knew Scott. And then literally right after that, another 2 guys come walking over like, hey, are you Vegas Confessions? It's like, you Julian? Like, yeah. It turns out these guys were from the San Diego area, both buddies, Kenny and Kyle. And they knew Scott too. And they were even asking Scott, you know, giving him a hard time, cracking jokes with him. So I mean, just very down to earth.
Isn't it funny though? Like you don't realize the people that listen. Like, you know, like I come in here and I bullshit with you, and you know I don't really think anything of it. But you know, on that note, I didn't get any shout outs, and I was just reading on Facebook. Julian does most social media stuff, so every once in a while I'll see something. A girl named Andrea.
Oh yes.
I scrolled through that today, and so I was like, I want to give her a shout out. So not only did like she grow up in the area that I grew up, you know, we're like 10 minutes apart, but she was, you know, talking about, hey, I binge listen to you guys are hilarious, you know. I'm like, that is awesome, you know, like, so I wanted to give it a shout out to Andrea, and she lives in England now.
Yeah,
because then I'm like, oh my god,
like, how the hell did you end up out there?
Right? Yeah, no, like I want to go.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. And
but
by the way,
I was like, that's so cool.
Another awesome shout out would be Bobby G. He just messaged us right now, and he showed us his hit from last night. He
put
it on Twitter.
Yeah, but he sent it to him. He sent it to Julie, and he goes, show Kelly this. I know she really loves
he's like, I know you guys appreciate Ultimate Poker, so show Kelly this.
And it was awesome. He hit 4 aces,
With the kicker.
with a
Oh,
juice
yeah.
times 12. I mean,
Never
like,
happens.
that's like
Never
the best.
happens.
No,
Yes.
it never happens. No, that's like the best thing ever. So we sent him a little video right before we started going, congratulations, that's amazing.
Right.
But, I mean, it was just things like that. Like, you met that guy, and he's like, oh, I already follow you. You don't realize,
Yeah. And
you
we
know,
did. We sat
who
there
wants to
and we
listen to our
talked for a
bullshit?
while.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we sat there and we talked for a while with them afterwards, and they had, it was their first time staying at Plaza. And it's funny because the next day I ended up back at Plaza and I ran into them. They had a bunch of more questions and stuff, and it was really neat to see the first time everything. They're like, oh, dude, it's our first time downtown. It's our first time staying here. We really like it. We've talked to hosts. They're like, how do we ask and approach a question? Like, just ask. The worst thing you're going to hear is
Worst
no.
thing you can hear is no.
You put up
That's
the
right.
play. You guys, I was like, dude, if you guys are playing, let's say at this certain number, and they're like, Jay, we're double that, right? I was like, then you're good. Like, don't worry. And they're like, dude, thank you so much. So just these interactions of meeting people who listen, who are like-minded, like casinos, gambling. It's really fun to do, and that's why we do this.
Yeah.
So again, Kenny and Kyle, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. From there, Scott ended up heading out. He had a lot of drink on the craps tables. I mean, he was
having
feeling
a good
good.
time.
Yeah, he was feeling real good. And I knew I was heading over to Jerry's Nugget. I had some lucrative offers. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go do it. I had 2 back-to-back offers, and it was like $80 in
free
total.
food.
Yeah, and free food. So I was telling.
And I'm like,
Shannon.
are you sure after our first experience you
I
want to
was
go
like,
back?
I'm by myself, I might as well. So I was telling Shannon, I'm about to head to Jerry's Nugget. And he's like, actually, I've never been there. I think I'll check it out with you. I was like, fuck it, let's go. So he ordered the Uber. And when we got there and I was like, hey, are you hungry? I got like, it was like $35 in food comps. Like, we can use it up, we can eat. He's like, yeah. I was like, come on, let's go eat. So we ate. And then he hit his wall, right? He's like, oh man, I gotta pack up in the morning. I was like, you want to play some video? He's like, yeah, let's go play real quick, and then I'm gonna head out. So as he was leaving, same thing. He noticed the surcharge. He's like, son of a bitch, dude.
Yeah.
I go, yeah. I said, just Saturday too, because I'd never noticed it. So that's one thing to keep an eye out for, is those surcharges on the weekends. So from there, I was there. I had to wait a little bit because you have to wait to get on their craps table because it's a $3 minimum, and usually there's always 6 people on there. So I had to wait.
But when we
about
went
30
there the one
minutes.
time, they were nice and they put your name on a
Yeah,
list so you could go, play
call
your
you
video
out,
poker,
yeah.
blackjack. And then when a space became available, like you didn't have to sit there and wait
Right.
behind people, They would say, hey, you're ready for craps, So that was kind of nice because that doesn't happen to other casinos either.
So I ended up playing there till I think almost 3. Ended up playing there till 3.
Not in the best part of town, by the way.
Got a lift, went back straight to Alice, checked out the tables there for a bit, and actually just hung out on the balcony, smoked, was actually going through my phone messages, all that kind of good stuff. YouTube comments.
Probably
and
would have
stuff
been
while-
longer, but Palomino was closed, huh?
Palomino, I did have to look for research purposes for the show, guys, and I did look over to the left.
He told me
and
that the
it
next
was
morning. He's
closed.
like, yeah, I was home early because Palomino was closed. Like, whatever.
I told Shannon not to leave. So now it was Sunday, and again, first weekend of NFL. Bears are playing at 10. Raiders are playing at 10. I was thinking, I'm going to go get some bets in, go check out the game in the front yard here, have some brunch at Alice Island, which was, something new they started for the Labor Day weekend. I wanted to check all that out, record that stuff. Man, as soon as I walked in the building, I got my bet in. I saw this line. I didn't realize it was a line for the front yard. This thing went from the front yard, babe, almost all the way to the back exit.
That's
it was
crazy.
Literally, and it was just people all in football jerseys, couples, you name it.
Exciting, but crazy.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
exciting. I was like, man, I just want to. I took a couple times I went in there just to go see everybody, watch a little bit of the Raiders game, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And again, you can't go wrong with Alice. It's
No.
always fun over there. So I knew I wasn't going to eat the brunch because I knew the wait was happening. So I said, you know what? When I talked to you the night before, I had realized I skipped Jesse Ray's barbecue that Saturday, which I had set up for
I
about
reminded
noon.
you, and you're like, oh.
No,
Remember?
I was like, shit. I had an incident happen, so I was on the move already, so I was like, well, let me reach out to them. I got a hold of him, got it set up for the next day. He's like, dude, we'll be waiting for you. So I went down there immediately. It was about 12. Went down there. Again, met the mom. I mean, just down to earth. This place is actually right behind Raider Stadium. And man,
So when
they're
those games
gonna
start,
be booming.
yeah,
that's
they're
exactly.
gonna. I
That was
mean,
the first thing out of my mouth. I told Sam. I was
that
like,
makes me
hey,
happy for them. Like, not only is it good food, good people, but now you have a venue where people will be on the weekends,
Right.
you know, and you know, be able to
Well,
fill
and
it up.
it's one thing we talk about. People don't know about a lot of the places that are not there on the strip. So if we can
Yeah.
get away and try something new,
Mhm.
I'm all for that. And this one was over the top for me because one location, because I know we'll probably be there at some point in the future,
Yeah.
just to go eat, if not, you know, a Raiders game or a game in general. But that's what the first thing that came out of my mouth. I was like, you guys are gonna blow up here. And she
Yeah.
just smiled. She's like, there's a lot out that's in front of them, and it's like all dirt and stuff. And she's like, they're actually plowing all this lot, and they're gonna make that parking here for the
Really?
stadium. She's like, so we're excited. I was
Yeah,
like,
heck
hell
yeah.
yeah. And again, babe, the food, fuck.
Great stuff.
I can't wait till we go back in October because I told them we're bringing the whole family.
Yeah.
And like literally, there's so much good stuff on the menu. But one thing they did do is a couple weeks prior to me going, there is a little Asian lady who's on YouTube. Her name's Reina, and she eats competitively. But she murders people. Like, she eats food like crazy. So she went down there, and I watched her tear up this item they got called the Fortress. The Fortress is like their homage to the Vegas Knights.
Okay.
So it's like their Stanley Cup trophy with all food inside.
Oh,
It's
geez.
really neat. So the outside is a rack of ribs, and it's pinned together, and inside is like waffle fries, mac and cheese, pulled pork, hot links, you name it, and all
It
kinds
sounds
of different
good.
barbecue sauces. It was delicious.
Yeah.
I didn't put a dent in it. That lady made me look like a freaking joke. She's a third of my size too. Yeah, I was like, son. So they were laughing at me because I was like, you know, this is a lot of food. I was looking at going in and trying different items,
Right.
but what was neat is ordering that thing is you get a variety of a lot of the stuff
Right.
they do already. So it was kind of okay. It was a win-win.
That's cool.
And man, I was full. I went up. They basically kicked me out. I tried to pay. They're like, nope. The mom already had left. It was the end of her shift. So I believe her name was Jennifer or Jessica, the cashier. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pay. She's like, nope. She's like, you just leave. She
Yeah.
wouldn't let me pay. They wouldn't. They're like, no, we got you. We're good. And so again, Mike, the hospitality, the customer service, again, thank you guys. I
And
mean,
you know who's gonna love it is our 16-year-old,
Oh, he's
because
gonna
he is a
kill.
freaking bottomless pit, and he is a meat eater. He is going to love Jessie Rae's.
And one thing about
He's
the
going to love it.
about the portions, they're not small.
Right.
So literally, that Fortress can feed easily 2-3 people.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to mention is I did put up a little video after leaving there about, you know, we don't ever do this to get anything free. That's never our intent. We're always about going out and literally paying for everything, trying stuff.
Right.
And there's some people who are like, you know, you're promoting places. No,
Never.
I'm sharing our experience. And that's kind of the way I do this with the podcast and everything in general, going out to meet people. I've been doing this for years. So you're right. I'm not afraid to shake a person's hand and get a name down. Damn right. So I really want to thank this place from the bottom of my heart. It was really neat that they were like, hey, no, you're all about, you know, taking care of us on social media and letting people know about us. It's the least we can do for you. And I've never ever looked at it that way because that's never ever been our intent,
Right.
you know. And the mom, she made a joke. She was like, you know, I've never actually had to sit down and interview with somebody like this who's a social she said, I've never had to do an interview like this with an influencer. And I looked at her and I was like, what did she say to me? She's like, yeah, you know, an influencer. And I was like, I'm not an influencer. What are you? I was like, just a regular motherfucker who likes food, man. And she started laughing. Yeah, so again, just down to earth people over there. And again, it's very genuine. So again, if you're in the area, check this place out. We mention Ellis Island all the time. This place is another notch. They have a lot of different options, and it's a totally different realm than what Ellis Island offers, you know? So again, worth checking out, especially if you're at a Raiders game tailgating.
Heck yeah.
Go get a fucking few Fortresses
That's right.
and go back. You guys are gonna have a good day. Hell yeah. So that was literally a highlight of the trip. Was I didn't even get to meet Mike, but I know just by meeting his employees and his mom, we're gonna hit it off right away.
Well, and just the phone call you made to me right after, you're like, this place was legit.
Yeah.
You know, like, so, and, you know, when he calls me and kind of gives me the ultimate, like, okay, just hit this place, this is what I thought, like, I could tell in your voice, you were like, wow, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
So from there, I still had to hit my third spot, which was the Stratosphere. And again, some of you may be thinking, well, that's not free. And I'll get to that in a minute. But first, the lift. Okay, this is my second lift where I was like, holy shit. So I get into this lift.
Surcharge.
No, not this day.
No?
It was Sunday.
Okay.
So no, yeah. So I get into this lift and the guy's like, hey, what's up? How you doing? I look up. There's a big tablet behind the passenger seat.
Oh, that's
And it's got all kinds of games and trivia going on. And I'm like, what the hell? But as I look to the left, he's got an even bigger iPad with all music and YouTube going. He's like, hey, man, check out whatever you want. I'm like, dude, this has got to be the best fucking lift in Vegas I've
Right.
ever seen. He's like, thanks, man. So, I mean, he had hand sanitizer wipes, he had masks, he had Lysol spray. I mean, this guy was all set up. I was like, damn, okay, yeah.
That is really awesome.
So,
to
as
be
we're driving,
set up like that.
I was like in awe of all his stuff.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. There's roads blocked off by police everywhere. And I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, oh, you didn't hear? I'm like, no. And I thought he was joking. He's like, he said, Orange Man's in town. I was like, who? He's like, the President Trump. I'm like, oh shit. So they had everything blocked off, some freeways, roads, because he was at the tower, at the Trump tower, apparently for the California visit for the fires the following day. So yeah, I was like, holy. So literally, when I got to the top of Stratosphere, and I started looking around, you can see the barricade of cop cars
Really?
blocking everything. Yeah, it was nuts. It was pretty weird to see, and I didn't expect that.
Right.
And when you're driving around, you see all these police. You're
You're like,
asking,
what happened?
yeah, you thought something really happened. No, it's the president was in town. I was like, oh shit, okay. So I guess they're pretty used to that.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh yeah, whenever he's in town, this is the roads they block off. I'm like, oh okay. So I thought
That's
that was
crazy.
interesting. I
Yeah.
got to the Strat, went up to the top, and this is how you get to the top for free, guys. And if you guys don't know, like I said, the Skyfall Lounge at Delano's free. You can go up there, you can order drinks, and no problem. You can go and just check out the view and head back. This lounge at Waldorf Astoria, same thing. You can go straight up the elevator. You don't get charged. You can go in there, get some pictures, videos, walk out, even have some drinks. It's really chill. I mean, I'd recommend just hanging out because if you're on the move all day, it's a nice spot to just relax for a bit. And then the Stratosphere. So if you don't know, we learned as rookies our first trip down there. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to go ahead and go down there, pay the $20 per person, take the pictures so we can go up to the top and view everything for free. We even had mindset on some of the rides until we got up there, and then we realized, nope, fuck that. So I went up there and I'm like, hey, can I go? I want to go up to the bar. And if you go up to the bar, you can immediately go up into the other elevators that are right there and go up to the 109th floor and get to the viewing area and go straight up top for free. So most people, if you don't know, you can actually get up there for free. Go to the right-hand side. Instead of paying to go to the top and do the rides and stuff, go to the right-hand side. There's a little booth with the bar label on it, and tell them you want to go up and check out the bar and get a couple of drinks. They'll let you up there for free, and then you literally take a lap around the bar and then head the elevator straight up. Free. So got some really cool views there. Cool footage there. All the rides were working and stuff, so that was cool to see. There was even a married couple up there that had got married recently, so that was really cool. Dress and everything up there. Taking lots of pictures. The whole crew was up there. That was pretty fun. They were wild. They were fun. They were fun. So from there, I decided I was heading to the plaza because I still had to do the walkthrough video for the plaza. So I wanted to show people, where everything's at, the layout of the place. So I head down there. Get down there, as soon as I walk in there, I see Brian Christopher. I'm like, oh shit, there he is. Like, hey man, said hi real quick. He was already, they were already heading into the elevator. So, but yeah, like I said, looking forward to chatting with him in the future. Also, when I got there, I just checked with security. Hey, I just want to make sure we're good. I don't want to get stopped a few times while recording. So I just want to make sure the security knows I'm here. And they're like, oh yeah, we're good. You're good. Go wherever you want. We don't care. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went around the casino, went around all the different food spots, went upstairs, Oscars, Bingo Hall, checked all that out. And then eventually went to the outside, got some outside footage. Ended up heading back to Ellis Island. And now it's almost 9. So my plan was to meet up with Dave and Michelle from the We Work to Visit Vegas YouTube channel. And I messaged them and I didn't hear nothing back, so I assumed they were out doing their thing. It was their anniversary actually, so that was, you know, it was a big weekend and a busy weekend for a lot of people.
Right.
So I went ahead and I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to go and see what's open at Alice, see if there's, you know, some blackjack tables open or craps and see how it goes. Well, craps there was $10 all weekend. The minute they open the table to the minute they close. Usually it's $5, and even the dealers are saying, like, you know, it usually jumps up to like $10, $15, like an hour before we're going to close
Right.
it. That way we can kind of chase people away. But it was $10 the whole weekend, I'm sure, because of football. All
Right.
weekend, they knew they were going to be busier. Plus, Vegas's Labor Day weekend was like one of the busiest weekends they have had since the reopening.
Oh,
And a lot
okay.
of people were saying, you know, this just feels like a regular weekend for once, besides, you know, all the fights and shit that's been going on lately.
Yeah.
So I went to go jump on a table. I see an old couple sitting on the table. I'm like, okay, no biggie. So old couple sitting there, there's a guy on third base. Well, the lady in the middle, she's not really playing. Well, I'm waiting for like 30 minutes, and I see another couple. They're looking at the same table I'm looking at, and the girl's asking, oh, well, if you know, you get a spot open, we'd like to play. And so they leave. I go back up to the room. I come back in about an hour, and they're still there. I'm like, fuck, all right. So I'm like, man, I want to play blackjack tonight,
Right.
right? So I'm like, all right. So I go back up to the room. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go smoke. Came back. They're still there, but they're getting ready to go. So now it's like 1. And so they're literally cashing out. And at one point, before they're cashing out, I can see the pit boss. He's like, nope, 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 I'm not going to tell you again. He's telling the lady. And so apparently this couple was counting at Alice Island in the morning.
Really?
And they were catching on to them, and they basically backed them off. And right in front of us, and the guy that was sitting on third base, he was just kind of like watching it and shaking his head in disbelief. And I'm sitting back on a slot machine waiting for them to leave. So I'm watching this happen. They eventually leave, and I sit down and I asked Faria, who's one of the dealers, like, hey, were they counting? She's like, yeah, that's what the pit boss was yelling at them about. Like, he told her she's flat bet. She's gonna either play one bet the whole shoe, or she's not gonna play. And so she would like
Really?
take restroom breaks and stuff. So he was like, oh yeah, we were on him. So the couple comes back that was actually waiting to play when I was waiting to play, a younger couple. So they sit down, and it turns out to be really cool because after joking around and messing around with this couple all night and winning and cracking jokes, it turns out the guy that I was playing blackjack with, of the couple, he's a chef at Giada's.
Oh,
So
nice.
he works with Giada over there, and so I was like, dude, do you ever want to? Oh, we played for a couple hours. He's
Yeah.
like, dude, I'd love to come on the podcast and chat. And I told him, you know, I'm a chef
He's
from
always
California.
making friends.
Oh, and I was like, the fact that
Making
you
friends.
work at Giada, that's something people would love to
That
hear and
is
talk
cool,
about.
though, yeah.
It's a cool spot, well-known spot. And so he's like, oh, dude, I'm game. So lined another one up there, had a hell of a run with them that night till about, again, 5. And then ended up going to get some rest because I did have a lined up interview with the Ellis ladies at 10 o'clock on Monday
Yeah.
before I left. So I wanted to do a little walkthrough with them, but mainly talk to them and welcome them on, because we're now doing the YouTube stuff. So we're
Right.
like, hey, you know, people have heard of you guys, people know what you guys do, but let's update them.
Right.
Let's show them, you know, who you guys are and what you guys are about. So they're like, oh yeah, let's do it Monday, 10 o'clock. So sat down with them for a half hour. Got so much cool footage I got to upload. There's so much potential stuff coming out, especially in October. We have so many friends in town that weekend. You mentioned, you know, playing live craps and blackjack and stuff.
But Circa's opening that weekend. It's Halloween weekend.
There's so many people in town.
It's going to be packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many
There's a lot of
people.
stuff going on. There's something else going on.
There's a Rocktober event that's going on
Yeah,
of
what
a
is
bunch
it?
of YouTubers who are getting together. So I know PJ Slots.
But some other show, remember that they were talking about? There's a big summit.
Oh, the Destruction Derby.
Destruction Derby.
Yeah, the Destruction
was
Derby's
it?
going on in Plaza. That's right.
They said that's really cool. Like
Yeah.
our 5-year-old, our 6-year-old now would
Yeah, they would
love
love
that.
they
Oh
would
my
love that.
gosh.
Yeah, so Monday it was literally get up at 9 a.m., get some coffee at 7-Eleven next
Get
door.
3 hours sleep.
Yeah,
Get up. Go interview
Get
the
up.
girls. They gave you a late checkout.
Yeah,
which
they
was
did
nice.
end up getting me a late checkout because there was nowhere to put my bags, apparently,
Right.
between the time I was leaving to the airport and the time I was supposed to check out. So they're like, oh, just stay there and you leave when you got to leave. So I ended up checking out about 12:30, took the lift over to the airport and flew back home. So
Yeah.
back to reality it was for me. But a couple of things I do want to mention.
Or also known as Home Sweet Home.
Yeah,
You know, whatever.
that's what we'll call it. But I did sneak some blackjack in before I left, and I did have some steak and eggs because why not?
Yeah,
It's
you might
Ellis
as well.
Island.
That's right. You can't
So
beat
again, I did mention the surcharges. I did mention the Lyft drivers. There was another Lyft driver I wanted to mention. His name was Jose. Jose was actually a server at Mon Ami Gabi at the Paris. And he was like, we were talking and he was like, oh, why are you here? And told him the restaurant. He's like, dude, you got to come to our restaurant. I was like, I know of the place. I said, but that would be a place I'd have to come with the wife. I was like,
Yeah.
it's a great view. I know of it. I've seen friends go to it.
Our
I know,
friend Chris loves it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He loves
Yes,
it. I go,
Chris
so
loves that place.
I know all about it, brother. I go, I just can't do it today or tomorrow. He's like, okay, you're coming back. And I was like, I'll see you in October. I know your name, Jose. You're not hard to forget. And he's like, all right, cool. So we have a date set up at Mon Ami Gabi at Paris at some point on the strip.
You're
So
just basically telling me I'm going to gain 10 pounds in October. Is that
that's
what you're
love,
telling me?
baby. That's love. For the most part, that was a wrap up for the trip. And again, I want to make sure I mentioned everybody that I shouted out in the beginning. But, 3 days goes by fast. And even, initially it was 2 days. And I was like, I don't have enough time to get shit done. 3 days, I still didn't have enough time to get
No,
shit done.
you did a
there's,
lot, though.
There's always stuff to do.
Yeah.
And again, if you guys enjoy this stuff, there's so many videos coming out of everything I've done. I have probably 5 more coming out by the time we take our next trip. That's my goal, is to
Hopefully.
pump these out.
I got to crack the whip.
Yeah, right. So that's my goal, is to pop these videos out. That way, we get more fresh content in October. I'm looking forward to putting the best views videos together, because that was actually
Cool.
so much
Yeah.
cool footage going behind that, B-roll and everything. I'm looking forward to that. There's the Plaza walkthrough, the Ellis Island interview, the room reviews. I mean, you name it. The Craps video's already up. I mean, there's so much stuff that I've done. The Ocean one. I mean,
You're overwhelmed, huh?
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but it's exciting, man. It gives me something to look forward to. I ain't doing shit here at home anyway, but playing teacher dad, so it gives me something to do otherwise.
And do you love it? Do you
I
love
love
teacher
it.
dad?
I love it. Oh, teacher dad. I thought you meant YouTube and podcast.
And we only have, as of today, we only need 85 more subscribers for
Yeah,
YouTube.
guys, we are
So we're-
915.
We were at 915 when I looked last.
915
We are
subscribers.
almost to 1,000.
And I know I said,
That'd be
hey,
fun.
I know I said, we'll bring the YouTube, or we'll bring the podcast to the YouTube channel once we hit 1,000. But I figured, why not? We need the practice.
Let's
we don't know
see what
how
we
well
can
this
do.
is gonna turn out and look. So if it looks like shit, sorry. But at the same time, it's all a practice trial for us. We're newer to the YouTube stuff. We have the podcast sound stuff down. That's not an issue. So learning all of this stuff and gaining a lot of YouTube friends along the way has been a blast already. I know we have so much more friends to meet, and
Yeah.
we're kind of newer to the scene.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. I'm looking at the videos and I'm watching the numbers and I'm like, oh, this one's doing good, this one's doing good. But how come we can't be like these people? Well, they've
And
been
that's
doing
what
it
he
for like
says.
4 years.
Yeah, and he's
so
scrolling through and he's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, they've been on for 8 years.
Yeah,
They've been
yeah.
on for 9 years. And I'm like, you've been on for what? 3 months.
couple months. Yeah, we've been
You
at
know?
it again. We used to do some stuff back in the day where we just,
It was like family trips,
Yeah,
though. It
show our
wasn't
stuff
like-
and trips.
yeah.
But now it's, more of the focus for the podcast, bringing interviews, meeting people, taking these, food reviews and bringing them live to you here on YouTube. So again,
Having fun.
that's the one I forgot to mention right now. The Jesse Ray's barbecue food review. I have that, the
Yeah.
interview, all the food shots, me eating, all that good
Yeah.
shit. So there's so much stuff for you guys to check out. I hope you guys are enjoying this. We have a blast doing this, if
Yeah.
you can't tell. And we love going to Vegas. And if you have friends that like Vegas, casinos, gambling content, make sure you send them here. Tell them to subscribe and have them enjoy good times here with us.
That's right.
So until next time, guys, we will see you soon. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. You want to send us an email, vegasconfessionspod@gmail.com. You want to reach out to us on Twitter, Vegas Confessions on Twitter, or the Facebook group, Vegas Confessions. Reach out to us, guys. We will see you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.